Most successful restaurateurs don't start off serving beer as a young kid to make lunch money, but that is exactly how John Seymour got his start. He grew up right here in Manhattan, working in his father's Irish pub as a bartender's assistant. He started working in restaurants first as a busser, then as a waiter, and eventually as a bartender.
After 7 years working in some of New York's legendary hotspots, he and his wife opened a small burger joint, Pops of Brooklyn, which was an instant success. Though he has no formal culinary education, he continues to work on his comfort food brand with Sweet Chick in Brooklyn and his latest restaurant here in Manhattan. John Seymour, welcome to The Dish.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So look at what, we have not been served anything like this yet. What have you brought us?
So, we brought some of my favorite stuff from the restaurant. Food is inspired by New York and where I'm from. I got the... First, I brought you guys a cocktail as well. It's a Queen of New York, it's called.
It's called the Queen of New York?
That is a requirement, so well done.
I have our kale BLT salad. BLT for the bacon, lettuce, kale, and tomato. Shrimp and grits, fried Brussels sprouts. For dessert, I have vanilla bean cheesecake. And I brought you guys one of our variations of chicken and waffles, which is one of my favorites, which is our buffalo chicken waffles.
Buffalo chicken waffles.
Yeah.
And you were telling me the waffles also, in addition to the hot sauce I can see on it, what's in the waffle?
So in the waffle, we have celery and carrots, and then we crumble blue cheese on top. Just kind of like, it's our
Very
variation
creative,
of,
very
So we
smart.
do, it's a great vehicle for all types of stuff. So we do all types of variations, chicken and waffles at the restaurant. But this is definitely one of my favorites.
Well, tell us about your start in the kitchen, because I read is it true you were serving beers as early as 4th grade?
I mean, I went to school at PS 158, and my father's bar was, he was a bartender 2 blocks away, and I lived a block from there. So I used to do my homework on the bar, and obviously I needed money for ice cream, so I would, run down to the basement, get a case of beer, open a beer bottle, give it to a guy, and get a buck.
Yeah,
and
get a tip.
Then I'd run out real quick, and then I'd come back for more money.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, that's how it all started, in the customer service and stuff.
I've read that you learned everything you know about customer service from your dad.
Yeah, I mean, my father was like the quintessential neighborhood guy. Everybody knew him, everybody loved him, and it was really just about the manner how he treated the guys that came in, and really it's just kind of really what I based, how we treat customers at Sweet Chick. So
The bar has given you so much, because I know you met your wife there, but I'm curious, was it ever hard to be around that environment all the time?
Not really, I met my wife. I actually got her a job bartending years later, because I ended up becoming a bartender as well. And it's late nights, it's rough hours, and sometimes you got to deal with some crazy types. But
you've been pretty open about the fact you had a drinking problem early on.
Yeah.
You've been sober now for 25 years, but you were working as a bartender after you were recovering from the drinking problem.
Yeah. My father actually was also sober bartender as well, which is it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I'm sober 13 years actually, and I was working in bars that whole time, and it gave me great perspective.
I guess it does.
I just I was kind of a wild kid, young. I learned early that that it just wasn't for me. And I kind of refocused my life and kind of went on a different track,
We mentioned that you don't have any culinary education.
Yeah.
So what have you looked to for both inspiration and education when it comes to the kitchen?
I mean, especially with Sweet Chick, I just look at my own city, right? Growing up in New York, you're just involved in so much culture, and the food culture of New York, it's everywhere. Chicken and waffles is a New York dish, and I really kind of clung to that. And
what's the origin of chicken and waffles?
So chicken and waffles started in Harlem. It's the jazz musicians late night didn't know if they wanted breakfast or dinner, and chicken and waffles was born in the kitchen. So it's really focused around music, like we are at Sweet Chick as well. And it just was a perfect marriage,
Speaking of marriage, let me get back to your wife now, because you guys, you have 3 children now.
Yeah.
4.5-year-old twins and a 2.5-year-old, and you're running 3 restaurants together.
Yeah.
How are you doing all this?
It's pretty crazy, my wife is really great, and we tag team all the time, and we're always
beautiful family.
Yeah, I have twins, Jet and Milan, and the young one's name is Barry.
You mentioned music also. I mean, one of your mottos is, we went from a negative to a positive, and it's all good.
Yeah, that's a Biggie Smalls lyric, and I learned that early on in the restaurant. It's like there's no problem that we can't fix, and it was like we can go, somebody can have an issue with the restaurant, and as all restaurants deal with, but it's our job to make sure that we can always bring this customer back, leaving with a smile. And it's really what we focused on, and I think we do a really great job.
It's such a smart idea. I'd love to see all the variations of the chicken and waffles. I want to hand you this dish and get your signature on it.
All right, cool.
And as you do this, we want to ask you if you could have this meal with any person, past or present, who would that person be?
Oh man, I would love to eat with my father. It's kind of the inspiration for everything that I've kind of how I've gotten here. So I think definitely that would be That would be key.
Well, he'd be very proud.
Yeah.
Chef John Seymour, thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
For more on John Seymour and the dish, please head to our website at cbsthismorning.com.